Mobilization of digital advocacy tools for Los Angeles protests, 2023 implementation of social media campaigns and $150,000 budget for real-time updates. Overview. In 2023, Los Angeles witnessed a transformative shift in activism through the effective mobilization of digital advocacy tools, particularly via social media campaigns. This initiative was backed by a strategic budget of $150,000, which was allocated to enhance real-time communication and engagement in addressing pressing social issues such as environmental justice, racial equality, and community rights. This report provides a comprehensive overview of the event's strategies and outcomes associated with this digital advocacy movement. Key elements of the campaign. 1. Social media campaigns. Social media platforms such as Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook played a pivotal role in the advocacy efforts. Activists employed specific hashtags to unify messages, making it easier for supporters to find and share information. This approach not only amplified the visibility of protests and causes but also fostered a sense of community among participants. Campaigns were designed to deliver real-time updates, ensuring that supporters remained informed and engaged as events unfolded. 2. Funding and resource allocation. The $150,000 budget was strategically allocated to various facets of the campaign, including technology, content creation, and logistical support. Key expenditures included technology, investments in software and tools that facilitated real-time updates and live streaming of events. Content creation, resources were dedicated to producing high-quality multimedia content such as videos and infographics, which were essential for effective storytelling and outreach. Logistics, funding was also used to coordinate events, manage volunteers, and ensure that messages reached the intended audiences. 3. Community engagement. A hallmark of the 2023 digital advocacy campaigns was their focus on community involvement. Activists encouraged local voices to share their experiences and perspectives, fostering a sense of ownership over the advocacy efforts. This grassroots approach not only empowered individuals but also helped cultivate a diverse range of narratives that resonated with broader audiences. Community members were invited to participate in content creation, share their stories, and engage in discussions which enhanced the overall impact of the campaigns. 4. Real-time updates. The ability to provide real-time updates was crucial during protests, particularly in response to evolving situations such as police actions or counter-protests. This immediacy allowed activists to maintain momentum and keep supporters informed, thus enhancing the effectiveness of their advocacy. Real-time updates were disseminated through various channels, ensuring that key information reached those on the ground and those unable to attend in person. Common themes in advocacy efforts. Across multiple sources, several common themes emerged regarding the mobilization of digital advocacy tools. Digital mobilization. The consensus highlighted the critical role of digital tools in modern activism, with social media serving as a vital platform for organizing, communicating, and mobilizing supporters. Budget utilization. The strategic allocation of the $150,000 budget was frequently recognized as a key factor in the success of the campaigns. Effective budgeting allowed for comprehensive planning and execution of advocacy strategies. Community-centric approaches. Many sources emphasized the importance of community involvement in messaging and advocacy efforts, which fostered a sense of collective action and strengthened the movements. Differences between sources. While there was broad agreement on the effectiveness of social media for mobilization, variations in strategies and focal points were noted among different sources. Some highlighted the use of influencer partnerships to reach wider audiences, while others emphasized organic grassroots methods that did not rely on established figures. Additionally, the scope of issues addressed varied. Some sources focused on environmental movements while others concentrated on campaigns for racial justice and community rights. Timeline of events. The following timeline outlines key events and the mobilization of digital advocacy tools during the Los Angeles protests in 2023. Early 2023, planning phases commenced during which activists identified key issues and target audiences for social media campaigns. Initial discussions on budget allocation and resource needs took place. Mid-2023, the budget of $150,000 was officially allocated to the campaign and teams were organized to develop content and implement strategies. Initial campaigns focused heavily on environmental justice with compelling visuals and narratives designed to engage supporters. Late 2023, as protests escalated, the need for real-time updates became increasingly critical. Activists adapted their strategies to ensure rapid dissemination of information, enabling them to respond swiftly to unfolding events. Engagement metrics showed a marked increase in online participation and support, reflecting the effectiveness of the campaigns. Ongoing, the campaigns continued to evolve, integrating feedback from participants and adjusting strategies based on the effectiveness of messages and outreach efforts. Activists maintained a flexible approach, ensuring that they remained responsive to community needs and the dynamic nature of social issues. Conclusion: the mobilization of digital advocacy tools during the Los Angeles protests of 2023 exemplified a significant evolution in how activism is organized and executed. By leveraging technology to enhance community engagement and facilitate real-time communication, activists were able to effectively address critical social issues. The strategic allocation of resources combined with grassroots involvement played a crucial role in shaping the outcomes of these movements. As digital tools continue to advance, the lessons learned from these campaigns will undoubtedly influence future advocacy efforts, fostering continued engagement and activism in the digital age. The content presents a structured overview of the mobilization of digital advocacy tools during the Los Angeles protests in 2023, with a particular focus on the implementation of social media campaigns and the strategic use of a $150,000 budget for real-time updates. While the summary offers a coherent narrative about the effectiveness and organization of these campaigns, several counterintuitive insights can be drawn from the content that challenge conventional understandings of digital activism. Counterintuitive insights. 1. Budget allocation versus grassroots activism. One might assume that grassroots movements rely solely on volunteer efforts and minimal funding to maintain authenticity. However, the $150,000 budget allocated for these campaigns highlights an intricate relationship between funding and grassroots activism. Instead of detracting from the grassroots nature of the protests, the financial resources empowered activists by providing the tools necessary for effective digital mobilization. This suggests that strategic investment can enhance rather than undermine grassroots efforts. 2. Role of real-time updates. Typically, social movements are seen as structured and planned events with clear goals and timelines. The emphasis on real-time updates in the Los Angeles protests indicates a paradox where spontaneity and adaptability are prioritized over traditional organization. This counters the notion that successful protests must be meticulously planned in advance. Instead, the ability to react swiftly to unfolding events allowed for a more dynamic and engaged response from the community. 3. Influencer partnerships versus organic growth. The content touches on varying strategies for audience engagement. Noting that some sources emphasized influencer partnerships while others prioritized organic grassroots methods. This raises an interesting point about the perceived authenticity of movements. While influencer partnerships might be seen as a means to commercialize or mainstream activism, they can also amplify grassroots messages to wider audiences. This duality suggests that leveraging established figures does not inherently dilute the grassroots message, rather it can enhance visibility and engagement. For community-centric approaches, the focus on community involvement in the campaigns appears to reinforce the idea that local voices are paramount in activism. However, this can also be counterintuitive in the context of social media's often global reach. While community-centric approaches foster local ownership, they may inadvertently limit the scope of engagement. Activism that is too localized might not resonate as widely, suggesting a complex balance between local empowerment and broader outreach. 5. Digital tools as equalizers. It is commonly believed that access to digital tools in advocacy is uneven, favoring those with more resources. However, the 2023 protests in Los Angeles illustrate that digital mobilization can serve as a leveling mechanism, enabling marginalized voices to be heard. Instead of reinforcing existing disparities, social media platforms provided a space for diverse narratives, challenging the assumption that only well-funded organizations can effectively utilize these tools. 6. Participant feedback integration. The ongoing adaptation of campaigns based on participant feedback is another counterintuitive aspect. It suggests that successful digital advocacy is not a one-directional flow of information from leaders to followers, but rather an iterative process. This contradicts the traditional view of activism as a hierarchical structure where leaders dictate the agenda. Instead, it highlights the importance of responsiveness and adaptability in activism, where community input shapes the direction of the movement. 7. Success metrics. The content mentions engagement metrics indicating increased participation and support online. This raises a counterintuitive question about what constitutes success in activism. Traditional metrics of success often focus on tangible outcomes such as policy changes or protest size. However, the reliance on digital engagement metrics shifts the focus to online presence and community interaction as valid indicators of success. This may challenge conventional wisdom about how activism should be measured and evaluated. Conclusion. The mobilization of digital advocacy tools during the Los Angeles protests in 2023 reveals several counterintuitive insights that challenge traditional narratives surrounding activism. By examining the intricate dynamics of funding, real-time responsiveness, community engagement, and the role of digital tools, we gain a more nuanced understanding of how contemporary movements operate. Rather than adhering to established assumptions about grassroots activism, the case of the Los Angeles protests illustrates a transformative approach that integrates technology, community involvement, and strategic resource allocation to drive social change. In analyzing the report on the mobilization of digital advocacy tools during the 2023 Los Angeles protests, several critical but often overlooked aspects emerge. These elements not only enhance the overall understanding of the initiative's significance but also reflect broader implications for future activism and social movements. 1. The role of real-time updates. One significant detail that many may overlook is the strategic importance of real-time updates during protests. While the report highlights this aspect, its implications stretch far beyond immediate information dissemination. Real-time updates serve multiple functions. They not only inform supporters of ongoing developments but also allow for the rapid coordination of actions. This capability is vital in a rapidly changing environment where police presence and counter-protests can alter circumstances within minutes. The ability to adjust strategies on the fly can mean the difference between a successful mobilization and a disorganized effort. Moreover, this approach reflects a shift in how information is consumed and acted upon in our digital age. Activists are no longer solely reliant on traditional media outlets. They can bypass gatekeepers and communicate directly with their audience. This direct line fosters a sense of immediacy and urgency that can galvanize participation and sustain momentum, particularly in moments of crisis. 2. Budget allocation and its impact on campaigns. The report mentions a budget of $150,000 allocated for digital advocacy, which is a critical detail that deserves deeper examination. Many people may take for granted the financial backing of such campaigns, but understanding how these funds are utilized reveals much about the structure and effectiveness of digital activism. The allocation towards technology and content creation is particularly noteworthy. In an age where attention spans are short, the quality of content can significantly influence engagement levels. High-quality multimedia including videos and infographics not only capture attention but also convey complex messages succinctly and memorably. The investment in logistics to ensure smooth execution of campaigns means that activists can maintain a professional appearance which can enhance credibility and attract wider audiences. Furthermore, strategic budget utilization can signify a shift in how movements can sustain themselves financially. Engaging local businesses or leveraging partnerships for funding could provide models for future campaigns, ensuring that the financial aspect does not hinder grassroots movements. 3. Community engagement and ownership. Another crucial aspect often overlooked is the emphasis on community engagement. While the report discusses grassroots involvement, it is essential to recognize how this strategy fosters a sense of ownership among participants. When individuals feel that their voices and experiences are integral to the advocacy efforts, they are more likely to engage deeply and persistently. This community-centric approach also counters the often top-down narratives that can dominate social movements where a few voices overshadow the many. By prioritizing local stories and experiences, the campaigns not only enrich their messages but also build stronger networks of support. This approach can lead to more sustainable activism, as engaged community members are likely to continue advocating for their causes even after the immediate campaigns have concluded. 4. Diverse strategies in content creation. The report notes varying strategies among different sources regarding content creation and audience targeting. This point is significant because it highlights the evolving landscape of digital activism. The choice between influencer partnerships and organic grassroots methods reflects differing philosophies about engagement and authenticity. Influencer partnerships can offer broader reach and credibility, especially among younger demographics who may be more inclined to trust figures they follow online. However, reliance on influencers can also dilute the authenticity of grassroots movements. On the other hand, organic methods may build deeper connections and trust within local communities but can struggle with visibility in a crowded digital space. Understanding these dynamics is vital for future campaigns as they navigate the complexities of digital advocacy. The choice of strategy can significantly impact not just outreach but also the character of the movement itself, whether it remains community-focused or shifts towards a more commercialized approach. 5. Adaptability of campaigns. The report mentions that campaigns continue to adapt based on feedback and effectiveness, a point that underscores the importance of flexibility in modern activism. Many activists may overlook the necessity of adaptability in their strategies, focusing instead on initial plans. However, the capacity to pivot based on real-time feedback is a hallmark of successful movements. This adaptability allows campaigns to remain relevant and responsive to the needs of their supporters and the evolving socio-political landscape. By continuously engaging with participants and assessing what works and what doesn't, movements can refine their messages and tactics, ultimately enhancing their impact. 6. Interconnections between various social issues. While the report touches on various social issues like environmental justice and racial equality, the interconnectedness of these issues is a critical detail that often gets lost. Activism today requires an understanding that social issues do not exist in silos. Environmental concerns are frequently tied to racial and economic injustices and vice versa. By framing campaigns in a manner that highlights these interconnections, activists can attract a more diverse coalition of supporters. This holistic approach not only broadens the base of engagement but also enriches the discourse, fostering a more nuanced understanding of the challenges at hand. Conclusion. The mobilization of digital advocacy tools for the 2023 Los Angeles protests showcases an evolution in activism that leverages technology, community engagement, and strategic resource allocation. While the report provides a comprehensive overview delving into the nuances of real-time updates, budget utilization, community ownership, diverse strategies, adaptability, and interconnected social issues, reveals the depth and significance of this initiative. Recognizing these elements is essential for understanding the future of advocacy and the potential for digital tools to reshape social movements. By embracing these insights, activists can forge more effective, inclusive, and sustainable approaches to their work, ensuring that their efforts resonate well beyond individual campaigns. 1. Impact of social media campaigns. The central role of social media in the 2023 Los Angeles protests cannot be overstated. Platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook became essential tools for activists to unify their messages through targeted hashtags, thereby increasing visibility and engagement. The ability to disseminate information quickly allowed for mobilization of supporters in real time, which was crucial in responding to dynamic situations during protests. This demonstrates how digital communication reshapes traditional activism, making it more immediate and widespread, thus reaching a larger audience than ever before. 2. Strategic budget utilization. The allocation of a $150,000 budget specifically for digital advocacy highlights the importance of financial resources in successful activism. This funding was strategically used for technology, content creation, and logistics, enabling the development of engaging multimedia content such as videos and infographics. The budget allowed for sophisticated outreach methods, including live streaming capabilities that enhance transparency and engagement. This aspect emphasizes that while grassroots movements are vital, effective use of financial resources can significantly amplify their impact. 3. Emphasis on community engagement. The campaigns placed a strong focus on community involvement, which fostered a sense of ownership among local activists. By encouraging individuals to share their personal experiences and perspectives, the movement became more inclusive and resonant. This grassroots approach not only empowered participants but also created a narrative that was reflective of diverse community voices, making the advocacy efforts more relatable and impactful. This point underscores the importance of community-centric strategies in modern digital activism. 4. Importance of real-time updates. The emphasis on real-time updates during the protests underscored the need for immediate communication in dynamic situations. Activists were able to respond quickly to events such as police actions or counter-protests, maintaining momentum and engagement through timely information dissemination. This aspect of digital advocacy illustrates how the immediacy of online communication can help sustain public interest and participation in social movements, thereby enhancing the overall effectiveness of advocacy efforts. These 4 points provide a comprehensive framework for understanding the dynamics of digital advocacy in the 2023 Los Angeles protests, highlighting the interplay between technology, community involvement, and effective resource utilization. Here are 3 famous historical cases that illustrate the mobilization of digital advocacy tools in grassroots movements akin to the 2023 Los Angeles protests. 1. Arab Spring 2010–2012. The Arab Spring was a series of anti-government protests and uprisings that spread across the Arab world, beginning in Tunisia and quickly expanding to countries like Egypt, Libya, and Syria. Social media platforms such as Facebook and Twitter played crucial roles in organizing protests, sharing information, and broadcasting events in real time. Activists utilized these platforms to mobilize large crowds, disseminate news, and document human rights abuses. The hashtag January 25 became synonymous with the protests in Egypt, which eventually led to the resignation of President Hosni Mubarak. The effective use of digital tools allowed for rapid communication and coordination, demonstrating the power of social media in contemporary activism. 2. Black Lives Matter Movement 2013–present. Founded in response to the acquittal of George Zimmerman and the shooting death of Trayvon Martin, the Black Lives Matter (BLM) movement has utilized social media extensively to advocate for racial justice and police reform. The hashtag Black Lives Matter became a rallying cry for activists worldwide, facilitating the organization of protests, sharing of personal stories, and raising awareness of systemic racism. In 2020, following the murder of George Floyd, BLM protests surged globally, leveraging digital advocacy tools to mobilize millions. The movement's strategic use of platforms like Instagram and Twitter for real-time updates, fundraising, and community engagement exemplified how digital tools can amplify voices and foster collective action. 3. Me Too Movement 2017-present. The Me Too movement, which gained prominence in late 2017, is a social movement against sexual harassment and assault, particularly in the workplace. Originating on social media, the hashtag #MeToo encouraged individuals to share their experiences and support one another, leading to widespread discussions about consent and accountability. High-profile cases and the viral nature of the movement drew significant attention to the issue of sexual violence, enabling survivors to find solidarity and strength in numbers. Digital advocacy tools were crucial in amplifying the movement's message, organizing events, and creating a sense of community among survivors. The movement's impact was felt globally, leading to policy changes and increased awareness of sexual misconduct. These historical cases exemplify how digital advocacy tools can mobilize communities, facilitate real-time communication, and create significant social change. Future outlook: predictions for digital advocacy and social movements in Los Angeles. As we look ahead to the future of digital advocacy tools and social movements in Los Angeles, several key trends and predictions can be anticipated based on the developments observed in 2023. The evolution of technology, shifting societal dynamics, and the increasing importance of digital platforms will play critical roles in shaping the landscape of activism. 1. Enhanced integration of technology. Prediction: by 2026 we will witness a deeper integration of advanced technologies, including artificial intelligence (AI) and augmented reality (AR) in digital advocacy efforts. AI tools will help analyze social media trends and sentiments, allowing activists to tailor their messages and strategies more effectively. AR could be used during protests to engage participants in immersive experiences that highlight social issues through visual storytelling. Rationale: as technology becomes more accessible, advocacy groups will harness these tools to create compelling narratives and foster stronger emotional connections with their audiences. The incorporation of data analytics will enable organizations to assess the impact of their campaigns in real time, leading to more informed decision-making. 2. Diversification of funding sources. Prediction: activists will increasingly seek diversified funding sources beyond traditional donations, including crowdfunding, grants, and corporate partnerships. By 2025, we may see a significant rise in the establishment of impact investment funds specifically aimed at supporting social justice initiatives. Rationale: the $150,000 budget seen in 2023 will serve as a model for future campaigns, inspiring more organizations to allocate funds strategically. As social movements gain traction, the potential for corporate social responsibility (CSR) funding will grow, provided that these partnerships align with ethical considerations and community values. 3. Increased focus on digital security and privacy. Prediction: with the rise of digital advocacy, concerns regarding privacy and security will become paramount. By 2025, we will likely see a surge in the adoption of secure communication platforms and practices among activists to protect their identities and information from surveillance and potential backlash. Rationale: as social movements face growing opposition, advocates will prioritize the safety of their members. Training on digital security and the use of encrypted communication tools will become standard practice in activist circles, ensuring that sensitive information remains confidential. 4. Evolution of community-centric approaches. Prediction: community engagement will evolve, becoming more participatory and decentralized. By 2026, we can expect a greater emphasis on grassroots leadership models, where local voices are not only heard but actively shape the direction of campaigns. Rationale: the success of community-centric approaches observed in 2023 will encourage more organizations to adopt similar models. By decentralizing leadership and decision-making, movements will empower individuals and foster a deeper sense of ownership, ultimately leading to more sustainable activism. 5. Global collaboration and solidarity. Prediction: the future will see an increase in global collaboration among activist groups transcending geographical boundaries. By 2026, we may witness the formation of international coalitions that leverage shared digital platforms to coordinate efforts on common issues such as climate change and human rights. Rationale: as technology facilitates communication across borders, activists will recognize the power of solidarity in addressing systemic challenges. Collaborative campaigns that unite diverse communities will enhance the impact of local movements, creating a more robust global advocacy network. 6. Shifts in public discourse and mainstream media engagement. Prediction: by 2025, public discourse surrounding activism will become increasingly mainstream, with media outlets dedicating more coverage to social movements and their digital strategies. This shift will lead to a broader societal understanding of the importance of advocacy in addressing systemic inequalities. Rationale: the successful use of social media campaigns in 2023 demonstrated the potential for grassroots movements to shape narratives. As media outlets recognize the relevance of these issues, they will seek to amplify activist voices, creating a more informed public dialogue. 7. Adaptation to regulatory changes. Prediction: activists will need to navigate evolving regulatory landscapes regarding digital communication and protest activities. By 2026, we can expect advocacy groups to become more adept at adapting their strategies to comply with new laws while maintaining their effectiveness. Rationale: as governments respond to the rise of digital activism, regulations may become stricter. Activist organizations will need to stay informed and agile, adjusting their tactics to ensure compliance while continuing to advocate for change. Conclusion: the future of digital advocacy in Los Angeles looks promising, marked by technological advancements, diversified funding, and a focus on community engagement. As activists continue to adapt to emerging trends and challenges, their ability to mobilize and effect change will likely increase. By leveraging the lessons learned from the 2023 protests, future movements can cultivate a more inclusive and impactful landscape for social justice advocacy.